other player cannot make the top 8,
Right.
while one can. So, if they know each other, they're probably will be more likely to want to get a player into the top 8. So
Okay.
we'll see how it plays out.
All right. Yeah, you can see Lucas Blohan behind Reed Duke there. And that is Denny Weinhardt on the far right-hand side, who's going to be playing against Fabrizio for a very likely top 8 spot here. Okay, looks like they're all set with their mulligans, Matej. Let's head in for round number 15. Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Barcelona. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Matej Zadelkai. We've reached round 15. This is the last round of Swiss. This will decide who's going to make the top 8 and who's not. And we think we have a winning in here, Matej, between Fabrizio and Terry and Danny Weinhardt. Denny Weinhardt, excuse me. And the winner of this very likely to make the top 8.
Yeah,
right?
we've seen Fabrizio all throughout the weekend, only picking up 2 losses, as did Danny Weinhardt, his opponent in this round. And Fabrizio, if he wins this, that will be his 10th GP top 8.
Jeez. He's already got 4 wins.
Yeah, and
he could go for the 50%.
The interesting thing is his first GP top 8 was only 3 years ago.
Wow.
If you divide that, it's 3 GP top 8s a year. It's great, and he's been doing fantastic.
Wow, that's insane. Good start for both players here as they start to move things forward. A little bit of a different look here from Fabrizio. He's actually playing green-black.
Yeah.
He's got the splash for white, maybe throwing Denny off the scent a little bit here, since you can't quite see any black cards or swamps yet. But we've seen red-white from Fabrizio both in the sealed portion on day 1 and in the first draft today. So he's taking a different turn here, showing us a little bit of a different look. Now, on the other side of the table, Denny, what does he have? Yeah, let's take a look at his list.
I don't think we have his deck list just yet. Wait.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
you can see he's got 3 colors of mana on the battlefield already here.
Nope, we don't have his deck list just yet. It's on its way, it looks
right.
like. But starting with Forest Island Swamp, not bad. Now, pieces of the puzzle.
Wow.
Not a card I'm impressed with, but
No, and you shouldn't be, because he just bricked.
he bricked completely.
It looks like there's 5 cards in the graveyard besides the
He milled
pieces.
3 creatures and 2 lands, and he doesn't even have Delirium. I mean, he was hoping for maybe the Scavenger to grow to a 3/4, but completely bricked.
Wow.
And Fabrizio already played a Soul Swallower and an Obsessive Skinner. If he can get the Delirium fast, which he can with the Wildfield Scarecrow, right?
I mean, yeah, that's a huge way to get Delirium going.
Yeah, and
That's
also
half a Delirium itself.
exactly, and also can get the Swamp that he doesn't have. And looking at Fabrizio's hand, he has a Cold, the Bloodline, and a Fork in the Road as well. So
Geez.
There's some different card types going on here.
So if he wants, he can actually have Delirium this turn, right? He can play Fork in the Road. That puts a sorcery and a land in the graveyard, and then he can crack the Scarecrow.
For an artifact and creature,
Yeah.
Sick, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Turn 5 Delirium with already 2 Delirium creatures in play, and your opponent bricking not only on the piece of the puzzle, but not having another land.
Yeah, and the sad part is even if the Moldgrass Scavenger had got Delirium, he still doesn't have a good attack through the 1/4. So things not looking good for Denny Weinhardt here in the early stages.
Yeah, so Fork in the Road as expected. Fabrizio gonna look for a swamp for he's gonna play and probably put a swamp in the graveyard. There we go. He can already sacrifice the Scarecrow to look for 2 more lands if he really wanted to. He might wait, but he probably wants to get the Skinner activation as well. I really like Obsessive Skinner. It's one of my favorite cards in the set. Just getting to that fast Delirium. Oh, he's playing it slow.
Yeah, he's going to take himself further away from Delirium, but keep those land drops flowing with a Stoic Builder.
Yeah, getting some of the, he has the Call to Bloodline, so in a pinch, next turn he can definitely get to Delirium. And his opponent did find a 4th land. I think he does have just to win, and I think I saw Rise from the Tide as well.
Okay.
So
that would make sense, after having seen the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, but a 3-color deck with pieces of the puzzle, Rise from the Tides, not all that convinced.
Looking a little sketchy, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there's Call the Bloodline, and in the same turn, Fabrizio is going to go ahead and crack the Scarecrow here. grab himself a couple more swamps.
Yeah, his deck is humming along.
It really is. He can discard a land here or something and get Delirium enabled if he'd like as well. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So now he's got Delirium. He's also got a 1/1 Vampire with lifelink.
There it is.
But that worm is going to start getting bigger and bigger as Denny Weinhardt kind of tries to set up some type of Rise from the Tides thing.
Yeah, he has Silent Observer, but
Okay, that's going to get outclassed quickly.
yeah, especially because Fabrizio can now maybe make another token, grow his Soul Swallower, and then his upkeep to a 6/6, which is pretty good on this board, and it doesn't make a token. But I think he has at least he has Overwhelmed Mysteries in his hand too.
Gosh, going off here.
Yeah. So he wouldn't even mind like trading off some creatures, just for that sweet card advantage.
Yeah.
It does say whenever known token creature dies, investigate the Overwhelmed Mystery, so it doesn't work that well with Call the Bloodline as you would expect.
Yeah, it'd be pretty busted if it made its own tokens and then also
yeah. Ew. Fortunately, we have R&D to balance these things, right?
Indeed, yes. Our safety net. So here comes Soul Swallower crunching in there for 6. And all of it's going to get through. Denny's going to fall to 14.
And Cold of the Waxing Moon.
Yeah.
5 mana, 5/4. Good enough in my books. Gets past the Silent Observer. That's my bar for how good I rate fatties.
Very
like,
nice.
Can it get past the Silent Observer? Sign me up.
A+.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's even going to get a little bit bigger there with that trigger from his Skinner.
And Fabrizio also has plenty of lands to discard for some more life linkers. No,
that was interesting. He looked like he was going to go ahead and discard a card from his hand for Call the Bloodline. Decided against it, draws a Bound by Moonsilver for the turn. And this one's going to be over very quickly, Matei, if things don't turn around.
Yeah, that's a good splash. Bound by Moonsilver helps him get to Delirium by sacking permanents. Okay, so
he's got, I believe, an Anguish Unmaking as well.
Impossible.
If I'm not mistaken.
Fabrizio does have an Anguish Unmaking. Yeah, you're right. He also has 2 Fevered Visions in his sideboard. But he picked both up in that draft.
That's a very big splash. All right, so the Byway Courier's going to pick up the Bound by Moonsilver, and Fabrizio's had enough. Get in there.
Everyone gets in there. And I think the Soul Swallower will get bounced by the Just the Wind.
Yep.
And the Observer can probably, soak up some damage, but it's still gonna be a lot of damage still.
It's gonna soak up 2 here, which has Denny even after this still taking 8 damage for the turn.
Yeah. So, but he's still taking 8 damage here, down to 6. So while also Fabrizio gaining some life, and like the board position does just not look good for Fabrizio. Even if he started throwing away his creatures, like here he just gets the clue.
Brutal.
Yeah, that was actually nice just to win. They actually got Denny Weinhardt to Delirium because he added an instant to his graveyard.
Very nice.
So that made the Scavenger 3/4 and got rid of the annoying Skinner, because it would have put another counter in Denny's upkeep on one of Fabrizio's creatures. But I'm really curious about what Denny's deck actually does. We just got the deck list as well. He's running 7 Forest, 7 Island, and 3 Swamp.
Oh, geez.
Also Warp Landscape to fix it.
Oh, here we go. Oh, he's got a Jace.
Okay.
He's going to bounce the Cult of the Waxing Moon. And, okay, things are starting to get interesting now. A couple of tempo plays help to reset the board. Now, it hasn't permanently solved the problems that Denny has, but maybe bought him a little bit of time?
Yeah, and I saw another problem with for Denny. Fabrizio drew a Sanitarium Skeleton, so he can get that Call the Bloodline engine going. 4 mana, make a 1/1. But, I mean, he has stuff to cast this turn, so that's definitely not a problem. But for the following turns, Fabrizio will be able to churn out 1 token every turn. As long as he has black mana, should be going very well. So just a Soul Swallower for Fabrizio there. Yep. Danny's gonna plus the Jace. Doesn't minus it. Danny has a Rise from Tides in his hand, but he will only get two zombies right now. So he has to figure out if he wants to draw the card. He also has a Storm Chaser Spirit. That certainly wouldn't be bad here. A couple more cards. The thing is, if this is like a very big creature, Fabrizio can always just sacrifice a land and move the Bound by Moonsilver.
Exactly.
But Danny could actually be in okay shape, considering like his defenses are set up quite well with that Silent Observer, almost just off the screen there on top. What does Danny do here?
You know, he looked like he was going to play something for 6 mana and decided to just do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, so the skeleton gets discarded to call the Bloodline, and I assume Fabrizio is going to
return it.
Return it.
Combo assembled.
Yep. I love that combo.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's a little slow.
It is very slow. It is really sweet. They often go hand in hand.
I know when you say something is sweet, then
yeah,
I know it's full of value.
It definitely doesn't mean that it's good necessarily, but definitely full of value. There's a Quilled Wolf now for Fabrizio as well, which could be a potent threat here.
Yeah, on this board, looking pretty good.
Looks like he's going to play the Cult.
And passes again. Fabrizio being very patient here. I mean, he's not that worried about the Jace just yet. And his ultimate is actually not that relevant on such a board. He can always just play the Sanitarian Skeleton to get rid of the trigger and then play whatever he wants. I never thought I would mention Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, and Sanitarian Skeleton in the same sentence.
Yes. Yet here we are.
Yeah. So, Marshall, who else do we have in the feature match area? Because this one looks like it's going to be a grindy game, and we've read out some really good players. So, what are the matches?
Yeah, so we've got Sean McLaren and Lucas Blohan.
Wow.
They're playing right next to our main feature match here, and then on the far end of the table, we've got Reed Duke versus Marcio Carvalho. On our side table, we have Thierry Ramboa. He's playing against Mehdi Sadi. So
okay. Good matches.
Yeah, really great stuff. And these are all potential win-and-ins. Some of them I would even say likely win-and-ins for top 8.
I think that these matches are almost assuredly all where the winner gets in, which is, I mean, good because there are a lot of known players in them. Yeah,
it's good for us.
Of course. We get to see some awesome players in the top 8. Oh,
Keswick Dyer's fine.
That's a creature I can get behind.
There we go. The big pig has arrived.
The big pig.
All right, and once again, Fabrizio is going to make another vampire here using the skeleton and the Call to Bloodline.
Yeah, but I think the Keswick Swine's going to eat the Bound by Moonsilver here.
I think you're right.
And Fabrizio already has 9/9 Soul Swallow with Danny all basically tapped out. He's going to have to throw a lot in the way to kill the Swine. I actually not even sure if he will have enough. He would have 3. Yeah, he would have enough, but he would have to throw away at least 2 creatures. And with a lot of the other guys that Fabrizio has, I think that I actually could be lethal this turn.
It might be lethal just simply because of the trample on the massive 9/9.
Fabrizio's doing the math already.
How much toughness can you put in front of this worm, and then what else gets through if you do?
Yeah.
Every turn counts here for Fabrizio. He would love a chance to try to close this game out as soon as possible. When your opponent's drawing a card for the turn and has a Jace active, you'd much prefer to shut the door as quickly as possible, not give them time to dig their way back out of it.
Fabrizio has another Call to Bloodline. That's pretty redundant.
Discard it, maybe.
He could.
He's going to play the skeleton, it looks like, and sacrifice that to move.
That's also sweet.
Yeah, that's
lands
nice.
are somewhat valuable if you're like churning the Sanitarian Skeleton with Call to Bloodline. So.
Yeah, he also gets a clue out of the deal thanks to the Ulvenwald victories. So,
jeez.
Fabrizio understands value, and that's going to do it. The lethal attack is good. Again, that Soul Swallower so big, and Denny needing to put so many creatures in front of it, it just left the rest of them to come through and finish him off. So Fabrizio and Terry picks up game 1 on his march from all the way yesterday when we started watching him during the sealed deck build till now. And oh my, look at this board state. So that's Lucas Blohan on the left there.
Yep, exactly.
He's playing against Sean McLaren from Canada on the right, and what a mess.
Look at what Sean is doing there. He has, I think, fleeting memories in play. So
he does, you're right.
So does he actually want to mill out his opponent? For those who don't know, it's a 3-mana enchantment that says when it enters the battlefield, investigate, and whenever you sacrifice a clue, target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. So it looks like he might have some way. He has confront the unknown in the graveyard, so JC Scrutiny. So he's been investing for a while. And look at that. Which card, which other enchantment he hasn't played? Ulvenwald Mysteries.
Oh, yeah. So he's going off. Oh, and he's got a Jace that was hiding just off camera as well.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So Sean McLaren's doing it. Though I will say that Lucas Blohan's also got a Drogsko Cavalry going of his own here, which can create quite a quick clock.
Yeah, and he still has plenty of cards in his library, so it hasn't looked like that kind of game just yet.
No.
But I believe with the Stitch Mangler being tapped and the Drogsko Cavalry being tapped, I assume that's what was played here.
Makes sense. Sean McLaren needs his creatures to die. Then he gets a bunch of clues.
Yeah.
You can just mill them out. Looks like nothing cast that turn for Blohan, so as he passes his turn back, Sean McLaren on his upkeep is going to transform a couple of werewolves. Now he's got a Timber Shredder and a Lone Wolf of the Natternolls.
Yeah. You learned your werewolves. You're good. I mean, Sean's deck looks pretty good for a slow blue-green deck. He seems to have the late-game power with all the enchantments. Okay, speaking of late-game power, he also has Sage of Ancient Lore, so plays the 5-mana spell there. And I think Sean has 3 cards in his hand, so it's only a 3/3 for now, but with Lucas having a lot of cards in hand of his own.
If he can get that thing transformed, it's ridiculous.
I think he's going to bounce the Cavalry here, worried about that. And yeah, Lucas is just going to make 2 1/1s with its ability. That's Drogsko Cavalry. Nice rare to have, but it always seems to go late in the table because like you want to be aggressive. It costs 7.
Yeah, he's just going to make a spirit before it gets bounced up to his hand.
Yep. Just 1.
Yeah, it costs 4 mana. Sigarda, that one you can pump out a bunch.
Okay.
But unfortunately, Lucas is only going to be able to make 1 here. Meanwhile, Sean is going to start applying pressure.
Yeah, he wants to maybe have some of his creatures die so that he can get the Ulvenwald Mysteries, Fleeting Memories going.
Yeah. He's built out a heck of a board here.
Jeez. And Lucas does not have much going on there. Like, he has the Cavalry now, Lambhole Pacifist. Also has a Pious Evangel, I think, in his hand. What else could we see there? Not much. Cold Wolf, I think. Plenty of cards, but just stupid creatures, you know?
Mm-hmm. Does Lucas test with you guys?
No. He's on the cabin crew.
He's on cabin crew.
So he's with Martin Yuza, Petr Sochurek. There's a couple of Belgian guys there. I actually don't know their full team configuration for this PT because it has been changing a lot.
It is very variable. Yeah,
yes,
it's hard for us to keep up with that team.
Yeah, it used to be fairly stable, but like over the years, it has been changing since Stanislav Tsivka stopped playing Magic. Then I went away from that team, and then Ivan Floch and Andrzej Strasky went to face-to-face games.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of change.
There's Drogsko Cavalry re-entering the battlefield here for Blohan.
Yeah, Lucas actually did a good job of killing off the Jace. He fired off an explosive apparatus at Sean, redirected damage, and then attacked with a spirit for the last loyalty counter.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was actually pretty decent. Also, I think he played. Looks like he played 2 spells.
Yes, he did.
Does he have a Tamiyo's journal during the play? Looks like I only just noticed it on the bottom of the screen.
He's building up clues. He's got a couple of them. All right, looks like our main match is going. We'll let this one come to its natural conclusion. We'll jump back over there as those players are.
Yeah, it'll take a while, I think.
Forward. Yeah, I have that same feeling here. So here's Fabrizio Anteri and Denny Weinhardt getting ready to rumble here. 2-drop for each player, though. One of them attacks significantly better than the other, at least at first.
No third land for Denny, though.
Uh-oh. This could be a short one.
And Fabrizio setting up Fork in the Road already. He has already the skeleton. Has Fork in the Road. So
uh-oh.
Playing the Fork here means that he will the hinterland log will not flip, and Fabrizio can just play the land he finds, which is a plains, nice splash yet again. So he's going to play that, and in Danny's turn he can make the 1/1 lifelinker, and I just think with a 0/4 and a 2/1 you don't want to tag into a 1/1.
Agree. Denny's mana has been kind to him as far as colors to go, though.
Yeah, Danny just passes the turn here, just to flip his werewolf into a 4/2 trampler.
Okay.
But
Fabrizio's going to make a vampire on end step.
Yeah, look how close he is to Delirium as well. Like 3 cards.
It's 3/4 of the way there.
It has looked very easy in Fabrizio's hand. Look at that, all the value. Gets back the land, replays it. Oh, the Fork in a Road Stoic Builder is actually a nice build around me in draft, because both those cards are not very interesting for like the werewolf decks, and you can get it pretty late. You can do some really nice things like splashing, even double colored mana costs.
So you're not going to be fighting against other people for those cards very often.
Usually not.
Yeah.
And then you can also get to play like some of the Dire Swines that get passed around late, or maybe even like Thornhide Wolves.
Fabrizio just immediately takes the hit here from the Timber Shredder.
Interesting.
It's interesting. You'd think you'd trade off the Stoic
I
Builder
did think that he would, but
and there was no hesitation either.
I think Fabrizio has an Anguished Unmaking in his hand too.
Okay.
So I wonder if that Reckless Scholar is going to be enticing for...
I got to say, throughout the course of the weekend, anytime anybody's played a Reckless Scholar, it has been killed on site immediately by basically any removal spell at their disposal.
Okay. Ignores it for now. Just plays a 4/5. Also not bad.
Not bad at all. And you can start to see some of the reason why he may have wanted to keep the Stoic Builder alive. He basically traded 4 life because he knew he was going to have these wolves up.
Yep.
Cancel that order.
Press the advantage.
Yeah. Advantage is going to get pressed by Denny here, which is going to open up another attack. I wonder if Fabrizio will trade now. Yes.
Yeah. I really would have traded last turn. I mean...
I agree. How much better is your Stoic Builder going to get
than
trading for a card and getting a card out of your graveyard?
Yeah. Absolutely agree. Yeah, Fabrizio swings back with the lifelinker at least, so he's gaining some life. But I would think he would want to kill the Reckless Scholar, but he might be saving up for something better here. Leaves up enough mana to play Anguished Unmaking and a token make a token if he really wants to. But I think he's having 4 mana up so that he can return the Skeleton and discard it to call the Bloodline, adding some more vampires to the board. He wants to play out his lands, and I'm not sure if he's that worried about the Reckless Scholar. But Danny already has 2 card types in his graveyard, so it won't be long before the Scavenger turns into a 3/4. There's a Skeleton. And another 1/1 lifelinker. This combo has been pretty sweet over the weekend.
It has been really good for him.
Right, we got an update from one of the other matches. Reed Duke wins 2-0.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
Reed's deck is
very
exactly. Slow too.
Yeah, we were like wondering what happened here, but that makes Reed Duke locked in for the top 8 with his good tiebreakers, defeating Marcio Carvalho. Probably Marcio never got out of the gates, I assume, even though he did have some powerful cards. So that's our 3rd player in the top 8. His tiebreakers are really good.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. We saw Reed Duke play against Jensen last round. Jensen defeated him to secure his spot, but Reed Duke fought back here in the last round. Looks like he's got his seat in the top 8 as well, so fantastic stuff there.
Yeah. It looks like Danny... I can see the method behind the madness of Danny Weinhardt. He just alluded with the Reckless Scholar and drew into Thing in the Ice.
And
he also has the Rise from the Ties, the pieces of the puzzle.
Okay, things are starting to make a little more sense here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, the Thing in the Ice, a little slow at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he can... I mean, now he could maybe get to Delirium if he would have played an instant here, but doesn't do so. If he would have done that, I think Fabrizio would have just pumped this Quilt Wolf and killed off the Moldgraf Scavenger in a fairly good trade. So Danny firmly under pressure, and Fabrizio already has 7 mana here, so he'll be able to keep churning with the Sanitarium Skeleton, maybe putting out some more pressure.
All right, well, there's the Thing in the Ice from Denny.
It's another 0-4 blocker.
Indeed.
He seems like those.
Yeah. Fabrizio's going to keep the vampire train rolling here.
Fabrizio even got to return the skeleton with the extra mana up. I don't think Fabrizio needs to be too scared of the thing in the eyes. It's just a 0/4. He has the Anguish Unmaking if it ever gets to that. So
right. Yep, he's got the mana for that as well.
He's in decent shape. If I was Fabrizio, I would maybe be worried about the Reckless Scholar being good, but look at that. Thornhide Wolves getting in for 4. Danny down to 10. Fabrizio should make a token on his own turn, though, at least.
To use up his mana efficiently.
Yeah, and he can play that land, too, just to get to 8.
Oh, he's not going to make a token.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I would have.
I would assume he would as well. There's that Reckless Scholar doing work.
Finding pieces of the puzzle. Will Danny whiff again? Oh, he might have just discarded it, actually.
We might or might not find out.
He did draw out the Jace, though.
Okay.
And has a Nibulus of Dust, too. He again has perfect mana. Islands, Swamp, and Forest. Okay, so end of turn. Skeleton gets discarded. More 1/1 lifelinkers. It gets returned. It's really good that Call the Bloodline has the clause that you can only use it once each turn.
Yes.
'Cause otherwise, it would be just a gross card.
It's approaching gross as is.
Yeah, with the skeleton, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
What is Fabrizio thinking about? Does he want to play the Anguish Unmaking? Okay, he's gonna go for the thing in the eyes here. Wants to exile it, so he'll drop down to 14 from that, and we'll see if he can. I think he's gonna just start attacking with everything. He did draw a spell too. But it's a little dangerous against Danny's open mana because he already saw just the wind before. Like, Combo can get ugly real fast. He also has the Storm Chaser Spirit.
Ooh!
There comes the team.
Fabrizio, no fear.
Yeah.
Willing to throw away a couple of lifelink vampires to get in for a big hit here.
Yeah. Oh, certainly doesn't mind. He'll gain some life back, and he can just keep making those cards.
They are pretty disposable at this point.
Yeah, it looks like the Thornhide Wolves will eat something at least.
Is he going to pump it? It feels like Danny's kind of daring him to.
Okay, so there's a throttle.
So that indicates to me that Fabrizio passed priority at some point.
Yeah,
there.
but it's just -4/-4.
Yeah.
Like, you're not killing the wolves.
No, he's basically using it to fog the wolves for a turn.
And like get Delirium for the Scavenger, I guess. That just seems
now the way's
bad.
clear for the wolf to get pumped here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. This did not work out well. But Fabrizio, I think, just said, sure.
Yeah.
Right? He said, sure.
Take 3.
This is fine. We trade these. You take 7.
No, the throttle was played on the wolves, so.
Well, I'm saying
Fabrizio
Fabrizio had priority, said,
yeah,
fine. And
take it.
Danny said, well, great. I wanted you to pump your wolf so
exactly.
I could kill that.
Yeah.
Now I got to do something. I don't want to take 7. So he said, I guess I'll shrink your wolves down. Well, now the Quilled Wolf gets pumped, and things look horrible here for Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice play there from Fabrizio, understanding when to pass priority and when not.
Yeah, but in that case, if Danny really wanted to play, why didn't he block the Quilled Wolf with the Scavenger, wait for Fabrizio to pump, and then in response
and then get him? That's what he really wanted.
He would have taken more damage this turn, but the courier could have blocked one of the 1/1s. He would take 6 this turn. Admittedly, that's a lot of damage, fall down to 4, but like this throttle was just prevent 4 damage, which is useless, basically.
Is horrible.
Especially if, with the long game of Fabrizio just going with the Call the Bloodline, and eventually he'll go wide enough because I think Danny's deck will struggle against a white-based deck.
Agreed. Yeah, there's a tough sequence there for Denny, and he is falling further and further behind here. He has a Keswick Dire Swine, but the real problem here is the Call the Bloodline Sanitarium Skeleton combo here. Look at all these extra vampires that he's generated.
He also has Ovenwald Mysteries. If any of his other creatures were about to die, which is quite unlikely.
A lot of mana here for Fabrizio.
Yeah, Fabrizio now makes the token on his turn. We'll probably pass.
Yes, and just build up an army here and then attack all at once.
Yeah, Danny will have to keep up playing creatures like every turn, which also makes him tap out.
Yes.
Which then makes it that much easier for Fabrizio just to draw something. It's just nice every turn. I'll play my land. I'll make 2 guys with the Call to Bloodline, and if Fabrizio ever draws something relevant, he can just play it. Okay, there's a compelling deterrence from Danny.
Okay.
At least something. Doesn't have a zombie though. Good. Okay, that's something big.
It's Jace.
Okay, Jace, we've seen him in a hand before. Like, yeah, there's the dice. Not much. You can just bounce the Thornhide Wolf. That's
Okay,
fine.
that's fine.
Still, just one more 1/1. Here come the Vampire Knights. This is the point where I would love to see an indulgent aristocrat.
Oh yeah,
You know, just like
that ends the game very quickly.
pump my team. Okay, we also have another update from the feature match area. The favorite Thierry Ramboa loses to Mehdi Saadi, who locks up his place in the top 8. There's no tiebreaker lottery for Mehdi, as he was on 37 points coming in, so he's going to be one of the top 3 seeds because his tiebreakers have been very solid. Not as good as Uwe Jensen or Viktor Skazanskis, who are also locked in, but yeah, just another solid player entered into the top 8 here alongside Reed Duke too, who won his match 2-0.
So we've got 4 of our seats very likely taken here. One of them up for grabs between these 2 players. Fabrizio and Terry looking to be in a good position to take that, though not quite yet.
He'll need a little more time, but
yeah,
even though Denny has the Jace here, it just that doesn't seem to be enough.
No, it feels like inevitability's on Fabrizio's side here again, thanks to the Call the Bloodline Sanitarium Skeleton combo that he's assembled.
Yeah, look at how many creatures Fabrizio has. He already has 7 1/1 vampires plus 2 of the wolves.
It's absurd.
Yeah, Mehdi has to dig, but Danny has to dig for something here. Just looking at his cards, I mean, he's blue-green deck splashing for 2 throttles. There's almost everything that's left in the deck. It just seems like it's just creatures. The one good card which could actually really help him would be a Watcher in the Web, just because he can block so many creatures at once. He can do a pretty good.
I think he just drew it.
Okay. Yeah.
He did.
That's one way to go about
That's
things.
what he found with Jace.
Yeah.
Nice call.
As I said earlier, I'm a mad prophet.
No kidding.
Yeah, he still might have just the wind as well. So I want to read this. No, not the swine.
How many extra creatures? Turns out it's 7 additional.
Yeah, Fabrizio has a Watcher of his own. But if Fabrizio ever draws a removal spell, we already saw Bound by Moonsilver. It's gonna be over. Fabrizio just continuing to play out the lands. Actually, I like playing out the land because of the skeleton, and I'm sure he's going to find use for all of the mana that he has. But if he ever draws like the Soul Swallower or the Obsessive Skinner, he doesn't have a land in his graveyard. He only has a sorcery creature and an instant. So he might have to wait until he draws another one. But yeah, as long as he gets to use the mana efficiently, it's fine. Yeah, Fabrizio doing the math. I mean, Watcher in the Web can block a lot of creatures, but he won't get to kill many creatures.
No, and the Watcher will die most likely.
Yeah, just the Quillbolt attacking here. This signals just a wind to me. There's a pump. No, it's going to be the compelling deterrence that we saw before.
Okay.
Fabrizio certainly doesn't mind. He can just replay the wolf and still make a token.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, he doesn't though. He wants to get the value from the skeleton. Doesn't want to play out the creatures now and going for that sweet value.
Oh yeah. Fabrizio's playing for top 8 here most likely. Danny's got to win back-to-back games, and he's got to come back in this one to do it. So
yep. He's in tough shape, and looking at his deck, like he might be able to keep that Jace train rolling and play out blockers, but at some point Fabrizio will go creature token in your turn, untap, attack
everything. Yep.
Yeah. Especially like once he draws a removal spell.
There's a byway courier for Denny.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of the Watcher in the Web, and Fabrizio definitely has cards to deal with that. Bound by Moonsilver is one. He also has Grotesque Mutation if he wants to keep attacking just with one. He also has Kindly Stranger. There's the Hermit of the Nadanals. Makes a 1/1. And passes again. Yeah, so Fabrizio's just going to flood the board, not scared of anything
Here's
else.
a throttle for the Hermit.
Yeah,
but he's going to get a card here, isn't he?
Yeah. Danny impatient.
Perhaps, maybe thinking that he needed to use up his mana on his turn, but giving Fabrizio a free card there can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
That also could have been autopilot from Denny. You're just used to just do. Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Denny. I haven't seen him around on the GP scene. He might just not be used to playing so many rounds. If you are not an experienced player, it just takes it because this takes a toll on experienced players too.
Absolutely.
If you haven't been in the situation before, it's just tough.
Especially for a game like this that's gone on for quite a while.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on the board. Denny behind.
Yep.
He's got his own Hermit. Well, he certainly knows what the card does.
Well, now he does.
Can't use that excuse.
Yeah. More vampires. This is the perfect spot for the Call of the Bloodline, especially because Fabrizio has a spare one in his hand too. So I think that's why maybe he isn't not afraid of playing. He has the Ovenwald Mystery, so he can get to Delirium if he really wants to. And it looks like he's going to keep churning out the 1/1 tokens. But yeah, Fabrizio doesn't have actually that much removal. I just looked at his deck list, and he already used his Anguish Unmaking. So I think he's just left with the Bound by Moonsilver.
Okay.
And we know that actually Denny has the Rise from the Tides, and even if he just gets to make 3 or 4 zombies, that can hold off the 1/1 vampires for quite a while, especially if the Watcher in the web doesn't get dealt with. Yeah, he can draw the Kindly Stranger too. That would be nice. Oh, okay. I've now found the card that it's gonna make this even better. Fabrizio has Ever After in his deck.
Okay.
So once he gets the Kindly Stranger, he can maybe flip it, start attacking with it. Wants it to die, then can bring it back with the Ever After.
Yeah, he'll have to get Delirium at some point there too, but it
shouldn't be
pretty trivial.
Problem. Yeah. He also has the Soul Swallower. Just at some point, it's just going to be too big for Denny. Even though he has Jace and can keep it keep it away from the battlefield for a while, but there's always just that inevitability.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the winner here gets to play in the top 8, and
this is a big match here.
Yeah, Fabrizio actually, there's this big storyline where Tomohiro Saito is in the lead for the Grand Prix Player of the Year. So once the world slots at Worlds, he got 1 point in Beijing. So he's on 38. But now with Reed locking at top 8, Reed is guaranteed to overtake him.
Oh, wow.
By 2 points now.
And where is Fabrizio in this match?
He's 1 point behind Reed.
Oh, my goodness.
So he's, even with the loss, he's going to tie Saito.
So Saito's at home watching this like, come on, guys.
He's in Beijing, like, probably glued to the screen.
Yeah.
But he actually, I know Fabrizio told me that Saito once approached him. Fabrizio, stop going to tournaments. This is my only chance to get to Worlds. You're already like platinum. You're gonna get there anyway.
Didn't work, did it?
And on the other hand, for Fabrizio, he already has so many good finishes at GPs for like the regular race that he only improves with a top 8 here.
Oh, that's insane.
So like the X3 just doesn't do anything for him. It only helps him in the GP race because there's no cap on that one.
Crazy.
So
all right, here's a Quilled Wolf. Fabrizio did do the math this turn though, to see if it would be worth it to start looking at the possibility of an Alpha Strike, but he decided against it.
Yep. So he just added the Quill Wolf, made another token. There's a Storm Chaser and another Storm Chaser Spirit.
Double
okay.
Storm Chaser. This is interesting. I mean, Fabrizio now has 13 Vampire tokens.
Jeez.
And he's going to have 14 by the time his next turn gets rolling too.
So that's if he attacks, it's like 13 life plus. I mean, the Storm Chaser Spirits will probably at least one will have to attack. He attacks with both.
3-turn clock.
Yeah, indeed.
Fabrizio falls down to 12.
Yep.
Of course, Fabrizio can mess with this clock pretty trivially.
He's up to 13 of them. Remember, there's a Watcher in the web that can block 7 of them?
It can block 8 total.
8 total, okay. Yeah, so there's 13.
Yeah, 1 for each leg.
Okay.
Looks like we may have ran out of vampire tokens.
Not surprised.
Fabrizio made so many.
Maybe we need to order some extra for the Pro Tour next week.
If Fabrizio's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
So, but he's down to 12 there. And he's, Danny playing defensive in this, and he's going to bounce the Quilt Wolf there.
With his Jace.
There's a rise from Tides. All right, so how many do we have, Danny Weinhardt? I would imagine like four or five, maybe six.
Six-ish.
Yeah. We're looking for zombies now. Token overload. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
All right.
But they're tapped, so maybe this
is. This could be the window though for Fabrizio.
Oh, also Molgraf can still one more blocker too, so up to 14 tokens, and still gets to return the skeleton. So let's see.
Insane.
Fabrizio, Bombay Moonsilver. No, it's a grotesque mutation.
That could matter here as well.
Yep.
I mean, remember, Danny's all the way down to 7, and something's getting through here.
Yep.
That could have been game.
I think that could work. I mean,
also, it feels like Fabrizio is going to feel the pressure to get this attack going just because of the 6 extra zombies that are going to lengthen out the game so much longer.
Yeah, so the Watcher's going to probably block the Graph Mole and 7 tokens. So that leaves 7 left to be blocked. He has enough creatures though to block it. It doesn't look good for Fabrizio here. I don't think the attack is worth it. Oh, and we actually have an update from the other tables. Sean McLaren wins over Lucas Blahan, 2-0.
Now, how likely is he to make the top 8 with that
very likely. His tiebreakers are very good. They're actually even better than Reed Duke's. So I think Sean is our 5th player in the top 8, joining Kazanskis, Jensen Saidi, and Reed Duke.
Cool.
Lucas Blahan eliminated from top 8 contention. I'm sure he'll be pretty disappointed, but 3 points locked up for him. Getting further towards that platinum goal. He still probably needs like a good Pro Tour finish.
Okay.
To really get there. But he's
two
on
more Pro Tours to do it.
2 more Pro Tours, yeah. But yeah, he's a very solid player.
On a good testing team, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he can always, and he already has a PT top 8, so he's been there before. Yeah, Fabrizio doing the math here.
He just doesn't want to make a mistake at this stage.
Yeah. The Watcher
he also has to figure out what's going to happen on the crackback.
Yeah, exactly. And the Watcher in the web is actually like MVP right now. Can hold off 8 creatures.
Agree.
It's just insane. Yeah, Fabrizio trying to figure out how much he can play out. And he should probably stay at home for this turn and play out as much stuff as possible, and maybe set up for like a big turn next turn. But in that case, there's so many zombies.
The zombies really throw that off. Yeah. If he can't get in and kill him this turn, then he's going to have to settle back in for a very, very long game. And he's really trying to make that decision because this is a big turning point for Fabrizio here.
Yeah. So for those who are too lazy to do the math, an attack for Fabrizio here would mean that the Watcher blocks the Graph Mole and 7 of the lifelinkers, meaning there would be 7 left, and then he has easily 7 other. He has 6 other creatures, no, 7 other creatures which he can block. So those lifelinkers would just die, and even if he used a grotesque mutation to kill something, it just wouldn't be good enough. So he's not getting through with anything on the board. He's just going to play his own Watcher in the web, which can actually block the Stormchaser Spirit, and there's also the Quill Wolf. So Fabrizio really playing out his hand, and he will be still able to make 1 extra token by discarding the Sanitarium Skeleton.
Yeah, this could take a while though.
Yeah.
With the 6 additional blocking zombies down there, it means that Fabrizio needs to go that much wider on his board state before he can actually get in that Alpha Strike. Also, an update from our floor here. Denny, and you may be wondering, he's only got 6 cards left in his library.
Yep. So Denny actually had to bounce the Watcher in the web with his Jace. I would like to see how many counters the Jace actually has, because it's just off camera.
Additionally, I mean, one thing that we could see here as well is we could see an attack by some vampires just to gain some life.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. So it's 3. So he can bounce the Watcher 1 more turn. So Fabrizio has to spring into action. He'll probably be forced to at least attack with some lifelinkers, or maybe with the wolves and use Grotesque Mutation. But then he has a lot of mana. Has some cards in his hand.
I think he just has 1, isn't that right? Just the 1.
Just the 1? Okay.
So.
But if it's just the wind?
Yeah, he just drew it for the turn. So I would assume that Fabrizio will consider that it might be just the win, but doesn't necessarily want to give him too much credit for just having cold top decked it.
Okay, we got some results from the outer tables. The player with the worst chance to make it into top 8, which was Jonas Niek in 19th place. He won, but he will be at X2, but he will not make it into the top 8 here. Unfortunately for him, his tiebreakers are just not good enough. But Jonas Freiberg did win over his opponent, so he could make it in 8th place, depending how the tiebreakers worked out, as well as Schlechtel. In 16th place, Leonard Schlechtel also won, but his tiebreak is trailing those of Jonas Freiberg as well, and both these players that we have in the feature match area. So there was, I believe, there was an attack with at least one, with one of the life linkers, just to put Fabrizio down up to 7. So he, even if Danny bounces the Watcher, so that he's not dead, unless there's a pump spell, of course. Gonna get bounced again. Fabrizio down to 1.
Woo!
He was at like 24-5
Yes.
this game. Okay, but I think he's going to start attacking. He has 16 life linkers.
Indeed.
He has Grotesque Mutation. He has the Quilled Wolf. The Scarecrow is definitely not where he wants to be. But he has to worry about the Crackback too, of course. So many zombies.
5 minutes left as well here. This has taken a very, very long time. This game has been incredibly prolonged. It's a Wildfield Scarecrow there for Fabrizio. And there's the Ulvenwald Mysteries as well. Okay,
that's actually kind of nice. When he sacrifices the Scarecrow, he gets 2 lands, but then his Mysteries trigger, so he gets a clue. That means that if he sacks the clue, he has 3 life for the Graph Mole. So gives him some more breathing space, and he'll get at least 2 cards close to that Bound by Moonsoul, which I think would see him win the game.
Okay.
But it's going to be very close here.
What happens if Denny wins this game, let's see, at the last minute, and then they can't finish their match and they get a draw? Is it a disaster for both of them?
If it ends 1-1, they're both eliminated.
They're both out.
Yeah, they're both out. It actually would allow an extra player to sneak in, so maybe even one of the lower placed ones with 36 points going up to 39. So
I don't think that's likely to happen here, but I do want to make sure that we're prepared for all possible outcomes.
So there's a Watcher in the Web which can block those spirits, but I still think Fabrizio should be scared about just to win. He saw it before. He's now tapped out, so he can't play a Grotesque Mutation here. So I think he's going to attack with 3 of the 1/1s.
Let them get blocked.
Yeah, they all get blocked, but Fabrizio goes up to 7, and he drew a Kindly Stranger. So off of that clue. So that means that next turn, he can play the Stranger, kill the Watcher, and maybe find a lethal attack. Oh, look at that. Danny Weinhardt targets Fabrizio.
Wow, that's risky business.
He wants, both players are at low cards and libraries.
I believe that Fabrizio may have found a Confront the Unknown as well. Does he have one of those in his list?
Yes, he does.
Okay, well, he has that in his hand now, which gives him Grotesque Mutation plus another +1/+1. This has been a crazy game.
Yeah, very close, grindy. Yeah, Fabrizio doing the math. Are we already in Fabrizio's turn? Okay, so then they didn't want to plus the Jace because he's running low on cards in library.
And didn't want to minus it because it can't?
He can't, yeah, he only has 1 counter.
So it's a little awkward there. And once again, we have Fabrizio doing the math, running the numbers.
Yep, so running low on cards in library, I think Fabrizio, he can go for it here because not only does he have the Confront the Unknown, which only be +1/+1, but that would also gain him some extra life. Not just the 13 from the life incubator, but has the Kindly Stranger too. So
yeah, the Kindly Stranger, he can make a clue, sack it, gain 3 from the mole. He can also combine that with Grotesque Mutation to gain even more life.
Yep, and hopefully kill a big guy in the process so that he doesn't need to be worried about the crackback. I still assume Danny Weinhardt has the Just to Win in his hands, just because he's been hanging on to that 1 card in his hand for a long time. Has few cards in the library, so actually I don't think he has it. I saw 2 lands, I think. So Watcher in the Web finally gets destroyed.
Is he going to go for it? Is this it for Fabrizio to get into the top 8?
Yeah.
Everybody hit the red zone. And remember, even if this doesn't work out, Fabrizio stands to gain 13 life minimum here, just off of the vampires. That's not even considering the grotesque mutation, which could stack on a bunch more life as well. Fabrizio sends everybody into the red zone. Danny's lining up his blocks. He's got to win back-to-back games in short order to make it into the top 8, or else Fabrizio will find himself in his 10th GP top 8.
Look at how many tokens are getting through. But yeah,
a lethal number currently.
Yeah, Danny has a lot of tokens of his own, slightly bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for those who just joining us in, because we're in the last round of GP Barcelona, and we're looking to see if Fabrizio can be the 6th player to join our top 8, because we're getting updates from other players, and it looks like BBD Brian Brown Doon also won his match. So I think he's the 6th player. Fabrizio could be the 7th player, and then the tiebreaker lottery starts, because the difference in tiebreakers are tiny. So it could be a lot of players here. Okay, confront the unknown on one of the tokens. Is that lethal? Okay. He's digging for the just the wind.
Okay.
No,
he didn't find it.
And there's the handshake.
Does it. Fabrizio and Terry earns the victory, and a big high five from Joel Larson there. He sneaks in there and gives him a high five, and Fabrizio looks like he is into the top 8 here in Barcelona. That's going to do it for round number 15.